Can do everything necessary to avoid these tariffs coming in. But like I said, if on Tuesday there are unjustified tariffs brought in on Canada, we will have an immediate and extremely strong response, as Canadians expect.
A powerful speech by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, and a powerful response in general by Canada to the bullying and despicable behavior by Donald Trump and his administration now leading the United States of America. As you heard Prime Minister Trudeau say that Canada will strike back hard if Donald Trump does implement these tariffs that he's saying will be implemented on March 4th after making that fake deal 30 days ago. I wanted to share this clip with you as well. This is Mark Carney, who many expect will be the next leader of the Liberal Party, and many expect will be the Prime Minister and will potentially go on, I think, to defeat the Conservative Party coalition in an upcoming elections. The Conservative Party under Pierre Poilievre had previously been polling ahead of Prime Minister Trudeau's led Liberal Party, but given the fact that Pierre Poilievre is Maple MAGA and they've been sucking up to Donald Trump, the Conservative Party in Canada has been tanking, and a Liberal Party with Mark Carney potentially as its next leader will be likely to form a government in the next elections. Here's what Carney has to say. Let's play it.
But let me start by being clear. We will never, ever be part of the United States in any way, shape, or form.
Here, Carney is again talking about Pierre Poilievre. It's why I wanted to give our non-Canadian viewers and listeners the context of what's going on in Canada with recent polling and who Poilievre is. Play this clip.
We have to recognize that the Donald Trump of today is different than the Donald Trump of several years ago. Then his objective was to take more of our market. Now he wants to take our country. Let me finish by pointing out one other thing. Who's the worst person to stand up to Donald Trump? It's Pierre Poilievre. He worships the man. He uses his language. He's not the right person for our country at this crucial time.
Now, I want to go back and share with you more of that clip from Prime Minister Trudeau in his speech about the likely tariffs that Trump has said he will impose on Canada. But first, I got to play Canadian Member of Parliament Charlie Angus, a good friend of mine now. Here's what Charlie Angus had to say to me when I spoke to him recently. Play this clip.
You know, I think the thing in Canada is we're just getting really tired of this. This guy's a convicted felon. He's a sexual predator. He just keeps poking us. He turned what could have been a really fun game. I mean, nothing better than a good hockey rivalry. He turned it into a hate fest, and Canadians were determined we were going to win that. My sense on the ground right now is whether he brings tariffs or not, we're in this to win, and we're in this to push back. So every time Donald pushes us, it actually is destroying what's left of MAGA Maple in Canada, and it's making everyone else say, yeah, okay. He wants to fight? I'm up for it. I got little old lady grandmothers who are telling me they're going out to do whatever they got to do. They're going to fight because Donald just doesn't get it. The more he pushes, the more determined we are to push back.
Yeah, Charlie Angus does not mince words. Now, here's the full speech, about a minute, 30 seconds or so, of Prime Minister Trudeau when he talks about these tariffs that Trump now says he's threatening again. Here, play this clip.
The first thing on tariffs is to emphasize that our government, and indeed all of Team Canada, premiers, business leaders, community leaders, are focused on one thing, making sure that come Tuesday and for the weeks that follow, there are no tariffs imposed on Canada. The tariffs that the President speaks of for next week are centered around the fentanyl crisis that they're facing in the United States, but that we are also facing in Canada. And for months now, I've been emphasizing that less than 1% of the fentanyl that arrives in the United States comes from Canada. But we know that even that 1% or less than 1% should be reduced, which is why we've invested $1.3 billion in strengthening our border capacities with Black Hawk helicopters, with drones, with 10,000 people patrolling our borders and keeping Canadians and Americans safe. And we will continue, as we are this week, with ministers and heads of agencies, including the Commissioner of the RCMP, the head of the CBSA, and our fentanyl czar down in Washington to demonstrate that this is an issue that we should be working together on, and that Canada is not the source of problems for the United States. We will continue to do that work and do everything necessary to avoid these tariffs coming in. But like I said, if on Tuesday there are unjustified tariffs brought in on Canada, we will have an immediate and extremely strong response, as Canadians expect.
Yeah, I think that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been, I think, pitch perfect since Donald Trump had been threatening Canada. I think Prime Minister Trudeau has been someone rallying all Canadians and inspiring Canadian pride. Let's go back right now to Charlie Angus, a Canadian member of Parliament from the NDP. Here's what he has to say. Let's play it.
We're getting the tariff threats, blah, blah. Canadians are saying, okay, bring it on. Like, you want to fight? We're going to fight. But you have made America sign up with Russia and North Korea. At one point, that would have been considered the act of an absolute traitor. How do you defend to the American people your absolute betrayal of your allies, 80 years of American leadership on the global stage, that you're willing to give that up, to kiss up to Putin? If you think that Canada is going to break right now, you're in for a big shock. It's going to hurt us. We know it's going to hurt, but we're ready because we are a unified nation. We have values. We're a democratic country. We believe in the rule of law, and you don't believe in any of those things, Donald. So I don't know, maybe you're going to have to call Vladimir and get an opinion on whether you should bring tariffs in or not. But if you bring in the tariffs, we're coming at you. We're going to come at you hard. And my message to the American voter is you're going to be in for a big surprise of the damage that your leader is doing economically, socially, geopolitically, and of course, democratically. So Donald, it's in your court. We can't tell you not to bring tariffs, but if you bring them, we're coming at you, and we're going to come at you in the Canadian way, which is what we've always done. When push comes to shove, we don't back down. We never have, and we'll never, ever kiss the gangster ring.
You ever have one of those date nights where you're scrambling to find the perfect outfit? Something that looks great, fits right, but still gives you some breathing room for that steak dinner? Yeah, I've been there. You start with something that looks good in the mirror, but by the time you sit down at the restaurant, that tailored fit is suddenly feeling more like a compression shirt. That's why I love True Classic. Their shirts are actually designed with real people in mind. Snug in the chest and arms where you want that clean look, but with just the right amount of room in the midsection so you're not regretting that extra side of mashed potatoes. And it's not just the tees. The curved hem crew, the knit Oxford, and their compact knit chinos are all game changers for date night. They're stylish, they fit perfectly, and unlike most clothes with this kind of tailored look, they don't come with a ridiculous price tag. And let's talk about winter essentials: long sleeve Henleys, fleece hoodies, button-ups, joggers. True Classic has everything you need to mix, match, and build the perfect outfit in minutes. Literally, this second, I'm wearing my True Classic tee, sweatpants, and even boxer briefs. Sorry if that's TMI. Plus, they offer free shipping on all orders and a 100% perfect fit guarantee. So if it's not right, returns are easy. Level up your date night or everyday style with clothes that actually fit right. Just go to my exclusive link at trueclassic.com/Meidas to save. That's trueclassic.com/Meidas, MEIDAS. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today.
Now, while all of this is going on, you have a powerful boycott taking place in Canada of all things United States of America. A boycott of travel to the United States, which I know is wreaking havoc on our tourism industry here in the United States. I know some of that data has been percolating, but I think I have a stronger sense of how damaging that is based on a lot of the research I've been doing and my communications with both Canadians and American companies involved in tourism. The boycott also of all American products. So Newsweek's reporting U.S. companies could take a hit from the Buy Canadian boycott. Here's what it says. According to the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, the United States exported $34.9 billion in goods to Canada in 2024, making Canada its largest export market. Let me be clear. Canada's the largest export market of these goods from the United States. Should the boycott of American products in the country gain significant momentum, it could harm U.S. producers economically and potentially prompt a reconsideration of the new administration's aggressive approach towards its main trading partner. Now, some of the data we have as well is that I think it was like 85% of Canadians, let me repeat that, 85% of Canadians say that they are readjusting their purchasing habits to not buy American. So if that holds, and 85% of Canadians are participating in this boycott, not just readjusting their purchasing habits to not buy American, do 80% of $349 billion, and you'll see the devastation that could be caused to the American economy right then and there. And then you hear individual stories just like this from The Guardian. This is a Canadian pizza shop. And when you hear just stories like this, think about this extrapolated at large. I decided I was done. Canada pizzeria boycotts U.S. ingredients in tariff dispute. Graham's Pizza owner and chef is boycotting U.S. products after Trump threatened to add 25% tariff on Canadian goods. Tucked away in a former garage space in Toronto's West End, Graham's Pizza is usually packed with diners hankering for anything from classic pepperoni to vodka and Hawaiian pizza. Sounds pretty good. Lately, however, owner and chef Graham Palmiter has made some changes on how he makes his pizzas. After Donald Trump threatened to slap 25% tariffs on Canadian goods and even to annex the whole country, Palmiter decided to banish U.S. ingredients from his restaurant. Quote, I just decided I'm done with the U.S. I wanted to move away from American companies. Canadians know Americans pretty well, and we don't always agree with the choices that they make. A lot of us are disappointed, to put it mildly. Making the switch has not been the easiest task, he says, but they are making it work. Look at that pizza. It looks pretty good right there. By the way, this is a previous story we did back in early February that the Canadian travel boycott of U.S. could cost $2.1 billion to the U.S. Travel Association. The U.S. Travel Association warns to our tourism industry if just 10% of Canadians reduce their tourism purchasing in the United States. And so I think it's going to be far more than 10%. So I think that number will actually be much higher. Canadian soccer coach blasts Trump's ridiculous comments on nation becoming the 51st state. Trump reiterated his desire this week for the United States to annex Canada. And to his credit, the American coach, Jesse Marsh, of the Canadians' men's national soccer team in Canada, blasted Donald Trump on Wednesday amid icy geopolitical tensions. Donald Trump also humiliated the United States in the Oval Office earlier in the week, of course, with his attack on Zelensky and, of course, Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada, which also houses one of the largest Ukrainian community in the world outside of Ukraine, was strongly in defense of President Zelensky and democracies across the world, unlike the United States under Donald Trump. Because here's what Donald Trump was saying with his red hat outside. Play this clip.
What? He's got to say, I want to make peace. He doesn't have to stand there and say about Putin this, Putin that, all negative things. He's got to say, I want to make peace. I don't want to fight a war any longer. His people are dying. He doesn't have.
And then, of course, here was Donald Trump bashing Canada, saying that if we don't support Canada, they can't exist. Let's play it.
It's not fair for us to be
supporting Canada. And if we don't support them, they don't subsist as a nation.
And here's Donald Trump attacking Canada again. Here, play this clip.
Look, we support Canada $200 billion a year in subsidies one way or the other. We let them make millions of cars. We let them send us lumber. We don't need their lumber. We're going to free up our lumber. Lee's going to do that, head of environmental. We're going to free up our lumber. We have the best lumber there is. We don't need their lumber. What do we need their lumber for? When you look at we subsidize them $200 billion a year. Without us, Canada can't make it. You know, Canada relies on us 95%. We rely on them 4%. Big difference. And I say Canada should be our 51st state. There's no tariffs, no nothing. And I say that we give them military protection. They have a very small military. They spend very little money on military. On NATO, they're just about last in terms of payment because they say, why should we spend on military? That's a tremendous cost. Most nations can't afford to even think about it. Why should we spend on military? The United States protects us. And I would say that's largely true. We protect Canada, but it's not fair. It's not fair that they're not paying their way. And if they had to pay their way, they couldn't exist. When I spoke to, let's call it the prime minister rather than the governor, but when I spoke to him, I said, why are we giving you $200 billion a year? He was unable to answer the question. I said, why are we letting you make millions of cars and send them in? He was unable to answer the question. Justin Trudeau, nice guy. I think he's a very good guy. I call him Governor Trudeau. He should be governor because the fact is that if we don't give them cars, we don't have to give them cars. The tariffs will make it impossible for them to sell cars into the United States. The tariffs will make it impossible for them to sell lumber or anything else into the United States. And all I'm asking to do is break even or lose a little bit, but not lose $200 billion. And we love Canada. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. And but honestly, it's not fair for us to be supporting Canada. And if we don't support them, they don't subsist as a nation.
Well, the MeidasTouch podcast is now the #1 podcast in all of Canada, thanks to all of you. A shout out to all of our Canadian listeners, subscribers. We appreciate all of your support in Canada. Thank you all so much. Let's keep on growing together, and we stand in solidarity with you, our Canadian subscribers and followers. Most Americans are not with whatever the hell this is with Donald Trump. We're not. You got to do what you got to do. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 5 million.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.